toughest teams in the Big East, each fighting for seeding positioning in the upcoming conference tournament. Today, we are at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, where the Marquette Golden Eagles visit the Seton Hall Pirates. At 9 and 6 in the Big East, Marquette in a two-way tie for 5th place. Seton Hall at 7 and 8 in a two-way tie for 9th. If you finish 5 through 8, you get a first-round bye in the Big East Championship. And a very pleasant good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bob Picozzi, along with former Duke All-American Jim Spinarkle. Thanks for beginning your Sunday with us. Jim, Marquette may be playing its way into the NCAA tournament. They've won 7 of 8, and they don't mind a bit if you take them in extra innings.
Absolutely. They've been playing close games all season long, and one of the things that in the overtime game against St. John's, Jimmy Butler tracks this basketball down. A little bit of a drive, tracks it down to the corner, turns around and shoots the basketball as the clock expires in overtime. They are a team that has been comfortable playing the close games. It's back-to-back wins in overtime. Previous to that, it was Cincinnati.
And Seton Hall also has climbed into the NCAA tournament picture. The Pirates have won 4 of their last 5, and one way or another, Jeremy Hazel has his hand in everything.
He sure does, and his hands is the key thing. He's coming back from the 8 stitches that he had, so a bounce-back game against Rutgers. But when we think of Jeremy Hazel, what do we think of? Long-range shooting, and yes, from every spot on the floor, Marquette has to find him early and often and keep an eye on him and track him. If you give him a second, he'll get it off. And keep in mind, he's been driving to the hoop, so his overall game has gotten better.
It is senior day here at Seton Hall. Moments ago, John Garcia and Eugene Harvey were honored. Will their final memory at the Rock be a pleasant one? Bob Picozzi and Jim Spinarkle back at the Prudential Center, all set for only the 8th meeting between Marquette and Seton Hall. And in our Star Watch, Jim, we have one of the most versatile players in the Big East and one of only 3 players in the Big East who's averaging a double-double.
We sure do. Lazar Haywood is one of these guys from Marquette, Bob, that likes to take the big shot. He will find that he mixes it up inside. Nice range from outside also. And Herb Pope, he will go after the glass, as you just talked about in terms of the double-doubles. He'll look for rebounding. And I think against this smaller front line against Marquette, may have himself a nice look down deep when he gets it offensively.
Let's take a look at our starting lineups that's brought to you by Interstate Batteries. And joining Hayward in the lineup for Marquette will be Maurice Acker. He is second in the country in assist to turnover ratio. And number 1, Darius Johnson-Odom, leading the Big East in three-point shooting percentage. He's knocking down 48.4% of his shots from behind the arc. And in the starting lineup for Seton Hall, along with Pope, Eugene Harvey, honored before the game, part of Senior Day ceremony, 5th in career assists, and because it's Senior Day, John Garcia will get the start at center. Garcia tied for 3rd in career block shots. Now you may notice not in the starting lineup for Seton Hall is Jeremy Hazel, Jim, and we may or may not see him today.
Well, he came into the arena today and his back started bothering him of all things. We spoke about the finger, the hand, where he had some problems in terms of 8 stitches. He will not start tonight, this afternoon, because of the back, Bob. I couldn't get a feel with talking to Bobby Gonzalez. Obviously, there was concern about it. He wasn't sure. They were icing it. They had a stimulator pack on him also. But something tells me the competitor in that kid is going to be on this floor at some point.
And of course, Hazel has battled issues. He suffered a severe laceration between his middle fingers and his shooting hand in the St. John's game. Left the game, didn't return. And without Hazel for most of that game, and without Eugene Harvey, the Pirates won that one. They've been dynamite here at home, winning 6 straight at home for the first time in 7 years. So it's Marquette 9 and 6 in the league, Seton Hall at 7 and 8. Kubian back playing in the town where he went to high school. Went to St. Benedict's here in Newark. Butler with the shot. Rebound Pope. We'll be saying that a lot. Out of the backcourt, Harvey. Second game back to the lineup after missing a couple of games with a hand injury.
It's a Marquette team that does clamp down on you in the defensive end of the floor. They don't give up many points, and they really make you work for each possession.
And here's the steal. Weak side help from Acker. Has a step on Theodore. Oh, did he catch up in a hurry?
Timed it very well, too, after the takeaway.
Mitchell to Theodore for 3. Rebound batted around. It comes to Pope. Bounce pass down low. Harvey had his pocket pick. Ill-advised pass by Pope.
Sure was. It was a tight one. There were 2 defenders right down there also. But a nice job on the offensive glass again early by Pope with the rebound.
And that's why Hayward is so versatile. He'll take you down low, and he can hit the 3.
He sure can, and gets the rhythm, and he's not afraid to take the big shot against Cincinnati 2 games ago for them. Down the stretch, he hit a big shot and then put up 5 of their first 5 points in overtime. So a guy that they look to, and Buzz Williams really relies on him as a solid player for him, a guy who's going to take charge of games.
49 threes for Hayward. Harvey penetrates, sets up Theodore, the baseline jumper.
Good use of the dribble right there, too. A little delay on the catch, not a clean catch, but used the dribble to his advantage to get a little room for a shorter jumper.
For the second straight game, Jim, and you saw the Pirates the other night, Bobby Gonzalez starting both of his point guards, Harvey and Theodore.
And that gets them from that look going up and down the floor. They have the ability to really play tough defensive effort, and Theodore, watch the time. You see, times it as if he's going up for a layup on the offensive side of the glass. Defensively, he gets a nice block and then gets the trigger going the other way.
Hayward from almost the same spot.
Nice and easy, too, isn't it? Doesn't put a whole lot of effort into his shot. He's got terrific range.
Hayward, the only returning from the Marquette team that won 25 games a year ago, and we were chatting with Buzz Williams before the game, and he really relied on his senior for leadership.
He sure does, and he made the point, too. One of the reasons this team is so good is that they're so close off the floor also.
Harvey for three, air ball, rebound, Hayward. He is 7th in the league in that department. Quickly the other way, Johnson Odom, kick out Acker. Acker's second in the league in three-point shooting percentage, second only to his teammate Johnson Odom. Timeout, Bobby Gonzalez.
This is a team, Marquette, that loves to shoot the three. Obviously, they've started off, and Bobby Gonzalez realizes that. One of the things they have to be concerned with is how they're getting their threes right now. And generally, when we spoke to Buzz Williams about his strategy with that, he likes to put the ball on the floor and push it a little bit, one or two dribbles, get the defenders to slide in, then kick it out. They didn't even have to do that really as of yet.
It is a huge part of Marquette's game. Marquette is second in the Big East, 5th in the country in three-point accuracy.
See, that one dribble wasn't much, though. That's really the part of it in terms of Bobby Gonzalez going into Hazel. He's going to get him back getting him back into this game, because he did not start because of the lower back. So Bobby Gonzalez right off the bat, knowing that he's down 9-2, and it didn't take very long, but not under the circumstances that Bobby wanted to, being down 9-2 and have his shooter supreme come off the bench and try to get him back in this one early.
Now, with the sore back, is it likely that Hazel has a better chance of keeping it loose by staying on the floor?
I would say yes, and it's important that he just gets loose and doesn't try to track a shot down. Good move right there, not to force a shot. And Pope has to catch that ball right in his hands, a little bit of bump. But I think you're right. Once Hazel starts to play, Bob, I think it's one of those things where he'll probably play as long and just as long as he stays out of foul trouble.
Butler commits the first foul of the game. Marquette has won 6 straight against Seton Hall. Only the second time Marquette has played here. They beat the Pirates by 25 here 2 years ago. Robinson didn't start because it's senior day. Garcia got the start. Now he's in the lineup. He's been red hot lately, and he takes it right to the rim.
I think this is a team, Marquette, you can go after, too. They're matched up pretty well. These are two teams that don't have real big sticklers inside in terms of big monsters that can block a whole lot of shots.
Johnson Odom, wild shot. That might have been the Ian Horse if it went. Theodore quickly the other way. Kick out Harvey. Penetrates. Robinson. Rebound pulled down by Johnson Odom. Marquette, not a good rebounding team. 13th in the Big East in rebounding margin. Hayward looking for his third three.
Pretty simple, huh, Bob? Who is guarding him? Who's going to find them? No one. Yeah, thanks. Boy, did he have a long time to shoot that three. Sometimes they're the most difficult ones when you have a little extra second or two to get set and shoot it.
Robinson, the transfer from Memphis. Theodore gives to Hazel. Started to penetrate. Harvey baseline. Up and over Hayward.
Well, with Harvey on the floor, Theodore on the floor, they have the ability to really put the ball on to go after it, put it down on the dribble, make things happen. Seton Hall is a different team with both of those guys on the floor with their quickness.
Kubian did not score the Marquette win over Seton Hall a year ago. Up top, Butler. He made the game winner the other night at St. John's. Good idea, not very well executed, however, as Butler threw it away. Marquette's very good when it comes to turnovers, 9th in the country in turnover margin, but their strength is shooting from downtown. And Hayward's already knocked down 3 trifectas. Marquette trying to make it 8 wins in their last 9, and Jim, few teams in the country rely as heavily on the three-point shot than the Golden Eagles.
That's for sure, and when they get the fresh looks, and one of the things with Hayward, if you match up a big guy against him, big guys aren't comfortable coming out on the floor to defend. And you look at all the room, and now here we go with the guards with Acker knocking one back. But look at how much time Hayward has to shoot the basketball. So maybe an adjustment. We'll take a look as the game progresses whether Bobby Gonzalez decides to go with Hayward and put a small guy on him to be able to get him out there. But then what does that mean? Hayward will go to the blocks. You can bet on that, the first or second possession.
And as we see there, the moral of the story there is Marquette has to stop hitting its approach shot so close to the pin there. They can't make the short putts.
We don't have that problem, do we?
Never. Harvey defended by Johnson Odom. The transfer from Hutchinson Community College in Kansas has made a huge impact in his first year in Milwaukee.
You're not one of those guys who pick up your putts, are you?
No.
Okay. Just checking to put closure to that comment.
I score high, but I score fairly. I score often. Hazel. Oof. Not even close to the rim. Might have been deflected. Here's Acker.
Zell has to guard at guard, too, it looks like. He had Acker for a little while.
Acker got a step. Nice reach-in strip. Acker got it back. Johnson Odom, the most accurate three-point shooter in the league.
Well, you know what? When you're hitting him like this, why do we want the short putts if you're Marquette?
5 for 5. Johnson Odom is 48% for the year from 3. Harvey. Pass deflected. Theodore on the wing. Now trying to go down low to Robinson. Works his way over Butler.
Nice work with the body just then, too, by Robinson. Feeling, touching, getting a little touch on the body, and then making his move across the middle of the lane. You have to set that up before with the catch. Robinson
averages 10 per game, but is averaging 14 per game in his last 5. Johnson Odom. Up top Butler. Defended by Pope. Kubi on baseline, kick out, Butler, ball fake, gets him into the lane, had nowhere to go and threw it right into Theodore's hand. Harvey in the middle, penetrates, counted in the foul.
Oh, a terrific drive there by Harvey, and the last bit of the drift. Very infrequently does it work really well if you fly away from the basket, but because he really focused at the last second to get that shot off, really pumped his way through the middle of the floor, though.
Keon Lawrence checks in for the Hall.
You take a look at, watch him go to his left, and just enough after the bump, but the concentration to finish it off. Little fake. He knows he gets the feel with the hand on the left hip, a little bit of a push. That's why he's drifting to the left, but he finishes it off.
Was on Hayward, his first 2 in the team. So Lawrence is in replacing Theodore for Seton Hall, and it has been a struggle in his first season in a Seton Hall uniform for Lawrence.
It sure has, and with the pickup right now, Seton Hall with the smaller guys, they're going to keep the pressure on as much as possible.
Kubion drives right down the lane.
But that's the blend that Marquette does have, Bob. They have the ability to have their guards put it on the floor, and when we spoke to Buzz Williams beforehand, we talked to him about his three-point shooting. A lot of that's predicated off their first or second drives to the basket, so he keeps the pressure on people, and then they shoot the basketball from long range if need be.
What's your early read on how Hazel's moving, Jim?
I think he's moving slowly, both ends of the floor.
Robinson, good footwork inside, but Hayward got a piece of it. Still 10 on the shot.
That to your eye also that he's sluggish, isn't he?
Yeah, not getting very high up off the floor either. Lawrence, a jumper. He's shooting only 28%, but the offensive rebound by Pope.
Boy, does Pope had a rebound in traffic. Terrific job. Somebody's got to pick up, though.
Quickly the other way, Butler is hammered by Lawrence. First foul of the afternoon on the Pirates, and Lawrence got his money's worth. Pope is a big-time rebounder, his first year in the Big East.
And rebounders just get a sense. Number one, they get a sense of where the ball's going to come off, and they follow and track it. And then down defensively, you take a look. You're right. They got their money's worth on Butler.
And Butler is going to do something that he spends a lot of time doing. This will be his 204th free throw attempt of the year, 6th most in the country. Theodore back in for Seton Hall, replacing Harvey. It's hard to imagine, Jim, any team in the country lost more through graduation than Marquette. They lost 3 players who are among the top 8 scorers in school history, and those 3 combined to score 5,407 points.
And that's the remarkable thing as you take a look at Butler's numbers, the improvement from last year to this year. And that's one of the, in college, that's the beauty of it, Bob. You lose so much sometimes, but then it gives young kids an opportunity to show what they can do. And Butler is one of those guys. I mean, his numbers are dramatic, as we just saw. Dramatic improvement from last year.
Jarrell McNeil, all-time leading scorer. Dominique James, third. Wesley Matthews, 8. All stayed 4 years. Lawrence. Low block, Pope, even lower to Robinson. The foul will be on Joseph Fultz, his first, and 3 on Marquette.
Nice entry pass to start that off for Seton Hall, but then the recognition of how you set your guys up on the floor. Not a whole lot of real thinking, just instinctive basketball just then in terms of the catch. Look to the lower block when you sense that there's a double team coming your way. You make the game very easy if you play it that way.
Robinson, one of several newcomers on this Seton Hall team via the transfer route. He came from Memphis. Pope came from New Mexico State. Lawrence came from Missouri. And Bobby Gonzalez was telling me, look, when you bring in as many new faces as we did, it's difficult to put it together in the first year. But we're a much better team right now than we were in November. And if for no other reason, Jim, because Robinson wasn't even eligible until Game 9 because he was a mid-year transfer at Memphis, so he had to sit out the fall semester.
And as Bobby Gonzalez knows, the only problem with that is a lot of other teams are improving also as the season wears on.
Butler trying to get to the rim again. Hayward had it blocked by Hazel.
It's one of the first times that Hazel has made a move that has looked like he's comfortable and probably because it's an instinctive move. Sometimes when you have a back problem or an injury, you're thinking too much about it. But there it was a quick catch and go type play. Hazel not thinking too much about the lower back.
Quickly into Kubian.
Tracking Kubian is going to be a problem for Hazel, though.
Hayward looking for his 4th 3.
See Kubian putting the ball on the floor. That's another problem now, too. You got Hazel guarding him on that matchup just then. It's not a good one for Seton Hall, so Bobby Gonzalez recognizes that immediately. Wants to talk things over again.
Second timeout for the Hall. Marquette has taken 6 3-pointers, and the next one they miss will be the first one they miss.
So watch the dribble here. Here's Hazel. It's not much, right? It's just 2 dribbles, but look at the room that the shooter gets. So somebody, it's difficult. If Hazel's back is bothering them, they got to really be selective as to whom they put him on so they don't dictate the flow of the action. And I'm sure Buzz Williams is talking about that. He's looking at it and he's saying whoever has Hazel, he's noticing the same things we are, right? He's standing up. He's not moving that strongly and quickly. So there's a weakness, so you go after the weakest link right now.
In chatting with Buzz Williams before the game, we asked him, is he surprised that his team is sitting at 9-6 in arguably the toughest conference in the country with all the losses through graduation? He said, I never think about things like that. He said, I live and coach for today, and I'm spending a lot of time because of the limited roster I have coaching their brains more than I am coaching their bodies. They only have 9 guys healthy today. Dwight Bikes didn't even make the trip because of an upper respiratory infection.
Yeah, to that theory with Buzz Williams, you know what? Probably does make a lot of sense when you think about it. He's got to worry about today's game rather than the next couple of ones of the Big East tournament or whatever.
And it's not like Buzz has a wealth of head coaching experiences to rely on. Right. This is only his 3rd year as a head coach. Shot clock is down to 3, and Seton Hall doesn't realize it. That's terrible shot recognition. It won't count.
It's a good call from the officials, too. Robinson got stuck with the basketball and was not aware of it.
Now we have an official timeout. Seton Hall has won 6 straight conference home games, but the Pirates are down 8 early. It is senior day at Seton Hall, but you don't have to be a senior to be honored.
Oh, fabulous. Great picture there, huh?
No age discrimination in this building. Marquette and Seton Hall both have the same goal in mind. They both want to get in the NCAA tournament. That line across marks the difference between 8th and 9th. So more than being in 2 different area codes, Jim, because the teams above the 8 get byes in the opening round of the Big East Championship. And bigger picture in terms of the tournament resume for both of these teams. Very close in the ESPN.com Inside RPI. And you look at the strength of schedule. Marquette's got a couple of more wins, couple of more league wins.
They do, but take a look at the strength of schedule. I think that's so important. 21 for Seton Hall and Bobby Gonzalez's squad. And Bobby, just speaking with him briefly, recognizes just the importance of this game. I think for a couple of reasons. Number one, whenever you can beat a team that's above you in the standings down the stretch, it always works. And to that disadvantage of Marquette, there's a little pressure there. You never want to lose to somebody below as you're contracting down towards the end of the season.
Yeah, Bobby told us we feel like we have a shot. We have no bad losses. If we can finish 500 in the league, I think we deserve to get in. And after today's game, they have Rutgers away and Providence away as Kubion drives right down the lane uncontested.
And Harvey got a shot as Kubion went by him. I think he's going to have to either get a substitution here, and they don't want to call a timeout.
They're already used to it.
Yeah, but Harvey just looked over at the bench and said, "Get me. I need to get out of here for a second."
Here's Pope. Low block. Here comes the help. Spins toward the middle. Gee, Marquette did a great job defending that.
They sure did. And the final part of that, Bob, was the fact that they got him to drift away from the basket.
Hayward sets the screen. Kubion. Not much of a threat from there. He did hit 6 threes against Georgetown, but he really is not the long-range shooter. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Harvey.
Watch to see if he gets hit in the face as he goes by with, yeah, you see that? I think it was the left arm, elbow. As Kubion went by him, it looked like the left arm just inadvertently got him in the chin area or face area. And skip pass.
Butler drives, kick out. Kubion looking for another three. Don Larson is safe. Marquette's not going to make them all. They hit their first 6 threes, now they've missed 2 of them.
Don't worry, I did pick that up.
Johnson Odom. Butler sets the high screen. Hayward. He even misses one. Lawrence all alone in the lane for the rebound. Here's Theodore.
Nice defensive close just then. Get up ahead, you get a layup.
Johnson Odom got it. Up he goes to Hayward. He missed the layup. He was way too close. Knocked down all those threes. He missed the chip. Theodore dribbled off his foot. And another steal, and then an accidental, I think it was accidental elbow. No, they called the travel. Acker got hit with a Mitchell elbow, but Mike Kitts, the official, said he traveled before it happened. Buzz Williams is saying, you have to be kidding me.
Not the prettiest of sequences here, but let's see if there's a quick step. No, I think the hit occurred before it. And I don't think he cares whether it was before or not, or my opinion on it. He just knows he got hit.
Third turnover for Marquette. Again, 9th in the country in turnover margin. Hazel down low, Pope. There's the help defense. Pope with the miss. Rebound last touch by Pope.
And I know as a play-by-play guy, you'd love to start calling Hazel's name out, wouldn't you, from a Seton Hall perspective and scoring. And he's just not.
And you just look at his body, he just doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah.
It's tough to play this game with a bad back.
Oh, yeah. It's tough to do a lot of things with a bad back to play this game.
Out of the car.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Hand check will be called on Robinson. That's his first, and 2 on the team. Marquette certainly is not going to feel sorry for anyone when it comes to injuries. They lost a couple of guys. Chris Atule, 6'10 sophomore, broke his foot in November, out for the year. Recently, they lost their backup center, Yusufa Mbao. He's out indefinitely with a knee injury. Marquette wasn't very big to begin with, and they lost their 2 big guys. So now they're even smaller. Butler penetrates. Kick out Johnson Odom.
Watch for the.
Hayward set the screen. Rebound Hazel.
Let's see if Hazel can do something with it. He's very quick to give up the basketball.
Hazel deep 3. Rebound inside off Robinson's hands, and he controls it.
Well, the fact that Pope is under there with them also, that's 2 guys they have to contend with to block out.
Kubion to Johnson Odom. Great ball fake. But he dragged the pivot foot.
Yep. Good reaction defensively by Seton Hall just then for the second guy in, because you're right, that ball fake was a terrific one.
Turnover number 4 for Marquette. Harvey back in for Seton Hall. And Joseph Fultz back in for Marquette. Fultz started early in the season, started 13 games, but midway through the year, Jim, Buzz Williams made a couple of changes. He moved Acker into the starting lineup and Johnson Odom, and Marquette's really taken off since then.
Well, it's that quickness in the backcourt, especially with Acker when he gets it going. And this is a good matchup too because Seton Hall is, guard driven. They like their guards to handle it, make things happen.
Hazel lost the handle. Here's a 2-on-1.
Spread it out.
Acker to the trailer Butler.
Good work.
Perfectly executed.
Sure is. If that first guy out in the 2-on-1, if he's kind of delaying and doesn't get down the floor, he doesn't force the defenders to play anybody. But the run out was there. Nice delayed break.
Harvey went behind the back. Acker held him. His first and 4 on Marquette. Substitution for Marquette. Checking in will be Junior Cadogan. And now official Bill McCarthy is telling Bobby Gonzalez, get back in that coach's box. There's Cadogan. He ruptured his Achilles tendon in the preseason. Marquette thought he was done. And after missing 18 games, he's back. This is his 6th game back. And he couldn't possibly have returned soon enough because of all the other injuries. Hazel with a miss, Johnson Odom with a rebound.
Yeah, that's a shot that he's usually right on track with. Didn't look all that bad, though. Nice look here.
Hazel 0 for 3.
See, now he's got to. Let's see if he's got to guard. Well, they're in a man-to-man, so he's got to guard Kubian still. Yeah, it looked like they were going to go to a matchup just then.
Cadogan.
They're good with the dribble. There's no question about it, Marquette.
Johnson Odom penetrates to the bounce, false travel.
See how good they are, though, Bob, with the dribble? They catch it and they go. They catch it and they go. They keep putting pressure on you.
Marquette has won its last 4 Big East road games by a grand total of 10 points. Marquette has turned the ball over 3 times in the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Let's take a look at our Big East leaders. And speaking of turnover margin, brought to you by PNC, leading the way. Jim, we're looking at the 2 teams that are 1-2 in the Big East in turnover margin.
Absolutely, and so it's going to be a real chess game in terms of who keeps the pressure on the most. Both of these teams handle it pretty well, and Marquette's numbers are really staggering in terms of with the way they play and going up and down the floor. 10 turnovers a game is a low number. It's one thing to have a great turnover margin, but if you start at home with handling the basketball well, and that's why, you look at West Virginia, Villanova, a good number there also, and they like to go up and down the floor also.
Look at Buzz Williams in his 2nd season as the head coach at Marquette. Spent a year as an assistant under his predecessor, Tom Crean. Before that was head coach for 1 year at the University of New Orleans. Only 37 years old, only in his 3rd year as a Division I head coach. And has to be considered among the top contenders for the Big East Coach of the Year.
Absolutely, with the year he's put in.
Down low, Robinson. Nice feed from Harvey, who is 3rd in Seton Hall history in assists.
And nice work after the break, too, just then to make sure, Bobby Gonzalez wanted to make sure that the team came out and got a very easy shot after executing.
Robinson with 9 points off the bench already. Kubian. Out to Cadogan. Harvey gives him lots of room. Doesn't want him to dribble by him. Johnson Odom's a different story. You got to play out on him.
There's that drive a little bit, though. Trying to put the ball on the floor with a purpose as much as they can.
Shot clock down to 3. Wild shot by Kubian.
A little breakdown. Hazel not on the floor, too, worth mentioning. He's sitting over there with the towel on his head, but Bobby Gonzalez changing it up a little bit right here, and Marquette showing just a little token 2-2-1 and then get back into their man-to-man.
Jim, you look at the 5 players on the floor for Seton Hall. Where are the points going to come from the perimeter? Away from the play, we're going to have a hold called. And it's going to be on Seton Hall. Robert Mitchell, number 1 on him, number 3 on the team. Kubian is from Maracaibo, Venezuela, but he spent 4 years playing right here in Newark at St. Benedict's Prep. Played for former Seton Hall guard Danny Hurley, who also coached Eugene Harvey at St. Benedict's. So maybe Kubian sort of has the feeling coming back and playing his old stomping grounds. Buzz Williams tried to avoid and did the 5-second call. That timeout was called from the bench.
It sure was. He realized it was getting very close to the 5-second violation. And what happened there was nobody from Marquette was aware of the fact that they had to come back and help out. One guy guarded. Guard was back. He was double teamed, and then they were in trouble.
It's hard to believe that the college lacrosse season is started. Don't miss the inaugural ESPNU Warrior Classic, Saturday, April 24th at Rentschler Field in East Hartford, Connecticut. Denver will take on Fairfield at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by UMass and Georgetown. Visit ESPNUWarriorClassic.com for more details. Yeah, the college lacrosse season has already started. Remember all that snow that we had we had a lot of snow this week in the New Jersey area. Rutgers started their season last weekend in lacrosse.
That's an indoor sport now, isn't it?
No.
No. It should be up here for another week or two, hopefully. It's supposed to be in the 40s, though, right?
Yeah, well,
like next couple of days.
Both you and I walked in from the parking lot sans overcoat today. We'll see how wise that is when we leave. No, actually, it's a beautiful day in downtown Newark. Hazel back in the lineup for Seton Hall. Seton Hall desperately needs him to get going on the board. Guarding Kubion. Eric Williams, number 12, freshman from Houston, has checked in for Marquette. Here's Acker. Guarded by Harvey. Up top, Hayward with shot clock. Johnson around the Hayward screen on the switch, picked up by Robinson. Down low, deflected and stolen by Pope. Here's Harvey, 3-on-3. Penetrates, blocked by Williams.
Terrific timing by Williams, but you have to give credit to Acker for staying in front of the driver, too. That allows the second guy in. Now watch Acker. He holds his ground. A little delay by Harvey allows Williams as the second guy in who gets the recognition, but good work there by Acker also.
Blocking shots, not Marquette's strength. Last in the league in that category. Low block Pope.
Yep, looking to double team him.
The cutter from the weak side, Theodore.
Nice job by Pope again, pitching it out of the double team.
Pope played his freshman year at New Mexico State. Made the Western Athletic Conference all-newcomer team. Crowd imploring Seton Hall to make a run. Pirates have been very good in this building. 13-3 and 6-2 here in the Big East. They've won 6 straight conference home games for the first time in 7 years.
Mismatch down deep if they can isolate Hayward right now. He's telling everybody to get away from him.
Yeah, Harvey trying to guard Hayward, giving away 6 inches. Acker with the runner.
And because of that advantage down deep, that's what Marquette's very, very good. You know, they're very patient. Even though they shoot the ball, they like that three-point shot, which indicates sometimes that you play a fast, up-tempo game. They are very solid in the half court.
Harvey penetrates, gets his own rebound. And Hayward lost the ball over the end line. Substitution Marquette, Butler back in, and Seton Hall, for the first time today, will insert Jamel Jackson, a young man who had the night of nights earlier this year against VMI. 12 three-point field goals, 40 points.
Big Bobby Gonzalez is looking for a little punch here, huh?
Yeah. Down low Robinson. He's got 11 points off the bench. He looks like he's a good fit for the Seton Hall team.
Yeah, he sure does. It's just, you know, under control, knows how to position himself, understands where the shot's going to come from because of the sequence of the passes, the offensive executions.
He's on that Memphis team that went all the way to the NCAA Finals 2 years ago, losing in overtime to Kansas. Averaged 3 points per game, played in 28 games. Traveling violation on Butler. 7th turnover for Marquette. Golden Eagles getting a little sloppy. Buzz Williams' club still leads Seton Hall by 8. Marquette trying to beat Seton Hall for the 7th straight time, leads by 8 all season long. Champion Apparel is showcasing the tradition and history of the Big East. Today, let's take a look at Seton Hall's Eugene Harvey. And Jim, when you think of all the great guards and point guards in Seton Hall history, then you look at that. Harvey, 3rd in Seton Hall history behind only Shaheen Holloway and Andre Barrett in career assists.
It is amazing when you think about it. Terrific career for him. A little bit of a change today. He got smacked early in the face. A little frustration on his last trip down the floor, but it has been a terrific career for Eugene Harvey, no question about that.
Harvey also 7th in career steals, 8th in career free throw shooting percentage. Out of the timeout, Seton Hall with the ball, down 8. Hazel, guarded by the much shorter Kubion. He's given away 5 inches. Kick out Theodore for 3.
Good release by Hazel just then, too. Couldn't go by the shorter guy off the dribble. And the sudden now Seton Hall building a little bit of momentum, trying to get it together as this half starts to wind down to 3 minutes.
First three of the day, 17th of the year for Theodore, the sophomore from Englewood, New Jersey. Crowd now back in it as the Pirates have pulled within 5. Low block Hayward, Pope with the block, but also the foul.
We've seen Hayward shoot the ball from long range earlier in this game, and then he decides to get down on the blocks and use the strength. Uses the body to get down there and bounce around a little bit. 6'6", 225 against Pope.
Hayward at the free throw line. He's the 4th leading scorer in the rich history of Marquette basketball. And Bobby Gonzalez told me Hayward's one of the most versatile and complete players in the league. He scores inside and out. And the thing I love most about the guy is he has a very high basketball IQ.
Keeps coming at you, too. I'm watching him against St. John's in person this week, and then also on the tube watching the Cincinnati game last week. I mean, he's a competitor. He loves to go after you and challenge you both. I like him on the blocks, too, because he knows he has the ability to get his shot off.
And there's the technical foul. Earlier in the game, Bill McCarthy warned Bobby Gonzalez to stay in the coach's box. That time with the play just in the backcourt. McCarthy right in front of Gonzalez, and he teed him up. So Hayward will shoot the free throws. This is Bobby Gonzalez's 4th year at Seton Hall, trying to get them into the postseason for the first time. He had great success in a 7-year tour of duty at Manhattan. So it'll be 2 shots and then Seton Hall ball. In those 7 years of Manhattan, Jaspers went to the NCAA tournament twice and the NIT twice. And he's trying to get Seton Hall into the party. Here's what happened on tape. Conversation there.
Yep, unsportsmanlike.
Boy, those officials know how to multitask. They can count 10-second call at the same time, also call a technical. Not easy to do that. Down low, Pope got his own rebound. Wild scramble. Theodore comes away with it. Finds Pope a little bit far for him. Here's Jackson for 3. Wow. Missed badly. Great hustle by Pope.
Was it ever?
Couldn't quite save it. A terrific hustle. Substitution Hall, Harvey in, and Jackson departs. Next up for Seton Hall, a return appearance with Rutgers. They just beat the Scarlet Knights here on Tuesday, and they will play in Piscataway, New Jersey on Thursday. Of course, you look at the Big East, there have been all kinds of upsets. I mean, look what Notre Dame did yesterday to Georgetown on the road. However, you look at Seton Hall's schedule, Rutgers 5 wins in the league, Providence 4 wins in the league, and all of a sudden Seton Hall, it is doable that maybe that they can get to 500 in league play. That's why today's so crucial.
Oh, it's so important, this game. You can't underestimate this one.
Rebound Harvey following the Butler miss. Harvey going right at the rim. Oh, 3 Marquette players there, but Harvey stuck right to it.
Hayward came down hard too.
Elbow.
Yeah, right elbow, he's holding it.
That's not good.
I don't think I've seen that many guys jump to try to block a shot in a long time either. He got tangled up in the middle of it.
Looked like there were 3 of them.
You can't knock the effort, Marquette, defensively. 3 guys going after it. Harvey somehow comes up with the ball and finishes it off. There's the bump. There's a hit. There's a swing. And he finishes it off.
Now he's holding his right wrist as he goes back to play defense. Young man who played at Notre Dame Prep in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, but he's from Buffalo. He's had a marvelous career.
And now he's back up towards the forearm and they've jammed the wrist a little bit.
Hayward, by the way, has scored 15 points today, and in doing so, he's moved ahead of Dominique James into 3rd on the all-time Marquette list. Hayward gives to Acker. Johnson Odom. Theodore trying to fight through the screens on the perimeter. Left for Butler. Pope blocked it. But he'll be whistled for a second foul. And if Gonzalez was upset with Bill McCarthy before.
Well, I think what Bobby Gonzalez is annoyed at right now was that first drive. He thought right here there might have been a push-off. Theodore had pretty good position, and then unfortunately they get Pope to react, which he has to do, and reacts, tries to block the shot.
Butler's had a terrific junior year. He has made 2 game-winning shots in the last 2.8 seconds. He's won against UConn with exactly 2.8. And you saw the one the other night against St. John's in overtime. It was a remarkable. He lost the handle on the ball, then turned around in midair and fired and somehow found the net to win the ball game.
And he couldn't have timed it any better, too, with the clock just disappearing.
Harvey penetrates, kick out Hazel for 3.
Well, yeah, you see he's not getting any lift on it.
Here's Acker. Marquette's got numbers now, 5 on 3. Low post, Butler charge.
The delay allowed Theodore to get good position just then. Marquette, as you touched on, said, Bob, they had the numbers if they just kept going with it. But then I think it was Johnson Odom who held the basketball just for a split second to look things over. Watch how he delays here. Delay, delay. Now he gives him the ball and allows Theodore just enough time to get back, and Butler ducks the shoulder into him.
2 on Butler, 5 on the team. Substitution, Seton Hall. Pope with 2 fouls sits down, and he's replaced by Farrakhan Hall, a 6'8 freshman from Memphis.
Good decision by Bobby Gonzalez there. Same on the other side to get Butler out.
There's Mitchell on the perimeter. It's been a quiet day so far for him. He's been very productive off the bench after starting 14 games earlier. Shot clock at 10. Mitchell catch and shoot. Rebound in the lane comes to 21 Fultz.
Seton Hall just can't get an outside shot to go, it seems like, to get them to build some momentum.
Less than a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Coming up at the half, Jim and I will take a look at the Big East Wire and the bubble teams of the Big East. We'll also review a wild day and wild evening at the Carrier Dome in the showdown game of the Big East. Check the latest conference standings. And we'll also have highlights and stats from the first half of this one. Clock at 5. Johnson Odom leads for Hayward. Wide open 3. Couldn't have gotten a better look. So Marquette has won 4 straight conference road games, all close. They jump on Seton Hall early, took an early 9-2 lead, hit their first 6 3-pointers, and have opened up an 8-point lead on the Pirates. Marquette trying to get to 10 wins in the Big East for the 5th straight year. Jeremy Hazel playing with a very painful back, scoreless. He's the 2nd leading scorer in the conference. Marquette by 8 at the half. Seton Hall has a 6-game conference home streak on the line, but trails Marquette by 8 at the half. Jeremy Hazel is 1st in the Big East and 2nd in the country. Jim Spinark on 3-point field goal makes, playing today with a painful back.
The lower back has given him big troubles, and you know, he's right in front of us as we speak. So I don't want to say too much about him, get him thrown off here, but it'd be interesting to see. Yeah, there he goes around the corner early.
Oh. Butler swatted that one out of the lane. Hazel with the miss. Pope kept the rebound alive momentarily, and Butler comes away with it.
Seems as if Hazel there again short and a little flat. As we touched on in the first half, the lower back is so important in functioning. It just seems he's not getting enough lift and arc on the ball. Each of his shots have been flat to my eye.
Kubian around the Hayward screen. Acker on the switch, picked up by 6'6" Robinson. That leaves a mismatch inside with 6' Harvey guarding 6'6" Butler. So far they haven't gotten it to him. Acker with the up and under move. Rebound Theodore.
Better job coming out to the perimeter also.
Good penetration by Theodore. Lost the handle on a shot. And here comes Kubian the other way. Been a quiet day for Johnson Odom, but not for this guy. Hayward with the miss. Hazel with the rebound.
Push the ball up. Good look to the corner.
Harvey, honored before the game on senior day along with John Garcia. Pope, down low, Robinson. Counted in the foul.
Boy, Hayward wanted to stay away from that play also and not pick up additional foul just then, only his second. But he was just a touch late. Good passing in the basketball. Pope with one dribble. He gets the ball down low. And Robinson continues where he left off in the first half. Good numbers. He was 5 for 7 in the first half for 11 points.
Robinson transferring from Memphis to Seton Hall. He's back near his old stomping grounds. He's from Trenton, but he played at St. Patrick's in Elizabeth. His team was 30-2 his senior year there, ranked number 2 in the country in the USA Today. Johnson Odom. Crowd thought he traveled. Nice look down low, Hayward, but Butler juggled the pass. Acker for 3. Rebound, Johnson Odom.
Terrific work. Acker got the good look, though. That was a good decision to kick that ball back out. And Seton Hall just stepped slow on the glass that trip. So important these first 5 minutes or so.
Harvey, right to the rim, missed the layup. Here comes Marquette. Up 7. Johnson Odom. This is a 2. 7 points for Johnson Odom, who scored a school record 46 in a game last year for Hutchinson Community College in Kansas. Was a first-team junior college All-American. Robinson wants to take it right at Butler and juggled it inside to Pope.
Not so sure how he found Pope on that one. Pope established himself, but he had to wrap it around 2 players.
This is a 3 for Johnson Odom. Rebound off Robinson's hands to Theodore. 2-on-2. Theodore on the blow-by, right by Johnson Odom.
It's just not fair to try to guard Theodore in the open floor like that. He is so blazingly quick and smart. It's a terrific combination, but once he realizes he has you backpedaling, boy, it's all bets off to try to stop him.
He's got 9. The lead is cut to 5. Butler, I think it went off his foot.
Yep.
Mike Kitts looks for help, and Tim Clockerty says it went off Butler's thigh.
And we take a look. Here's Ron Watzell. He has to wrap this ball around a little bit. Pope establishes himself down deep, so nice job there. And then forget about this one. When he has you backpedaling, you're in trouble.
Seton Hall with a chance to inch closer here. Pope, kick out Harvey. Boy, would they love to get Hazel going. Hazel's just not moving well at all, with or without the basketball. Clearly bothered by that back. Hazel deep 3.
Yeah.
Barely hit the front of the rim.
And that was not a good shot to begin with in terms of the shot selection, because he just really never could establish that right foot down to plant foot. Just not getting the lift.
Hazel now 0 for 6 today. Butler for 3. Rebound Hazel.
Marquette missed a mismatch there again. Hayward had Theodore on him down on the blocks. They went right by it.
Both teams struggling to hit from the perimeter here in the first 4 minutes of the second half. Harvey spins, dumps inside to Robinson.
Robinson really playing well. And he's, a lot of times the tendency the forwards forget to just simply look at the ball when guards are driving it into the lane, and he's just doing a great job of planting himself down and stay in position.
He's got 16. Pirates within 3. Johnson Odom to Hayward. Behind the back pass to Acker.
Sure, they'd like to get Butler involved. Here he goes in the middle.
Shot clock down to 8 from the wing. Rebound pulled down by Harvey. Seton Hall could tie it with a 3. Pass inside, not caught cleanly. Last touch by Marquette. So Seton Hall has made a run. Trailed by 8 at the half. They've chipped away and now are within 3. They've already won 7 Big East games, equals the most under Bobby Gonzalez. Big East headlines are next. Fans hoping their Pirates can get to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2006. Let's check out some Big East headlines. Jim, what a performance Jim Boeheim's Syracuse Orange put on last night at the Carrier Dome against Villanova.
And they just can't seem to sell any tickets up there. Nobody wants to go see Syracuse play. A record crowd of just a touch over 34,000. How about Notre Dame? They are making the surge. Pitt and Georgetown went down in the hands of Notre Dame, and a lot of teams on the bubble for the Big East.
Including the two we're looking at today. Bobby Gonzalez's club, if they could get a win today, would be at 8-8 with 2 games left against a Rutgers team that has played much better in recent weeks, but only has 5 wins, and a Providence team that has really struggled and is sitting at 4-12 in the league. Seton Hall could get today's win. Seton Hall can run the table and get 10-8. How do you keep them out?
Great question. That's why we have the bubble discussions throughout the course of today and the next week or so.
Johnson Odom to Acker.
But I agree with you. I mean, Seton Hall, if they can run the table.
Blocked by Pope. Shot clock at 8. Kubian on the drive. Let's see. They're going to count it?
I believe they are.
They are. So Kubian with a chance for a 3-point play.
Tough break, too, for Seton Hall. They defended pretty well. Watch Pope's going to step up on the block, get that nice deflection, and then it goes right into the hands of Johnson Odom, getting it right back.
First foul on Harvey and 1 on the Hall this half. Kubian began the year as the starting point guard for Buzz Williams, but once Acker was inserted in the starting lineup, he now slides over to the 2. But he does have point guard abilities. A lot of coaches love to play with 2 guys on the floor that can point at the same time, Jim.
Absolutely. I mean, it's nice post up again. Robinson continues to step it up.
It's a new career high for Robinson with 18 points. His 6th straight double-figure scoring game. Butler to Acker. Butler drives. Crowd thought he walked. Hayward from the right. Long rebound pulled down by Harvey. Seton Hall with the ball down 4.
Big step out there by Butler to stop Harvey's first penetration.
Harvey tried to dump it inside to Robinson. Didn't work the first time, but the second time did.
The dribble penetration is allowing Robinson to just have his way down low. It's not him, but it's his teammates bringing the ball towards the middle of the floor, and he's just making himself a great available target, and then he's finishing it.
First 20-point game of his college career for Robinson. Remember when Marquette hit its first 6 threes? They haven't hit one since. They've missed 10 in a row.
Yeah, take a look at this drive from way outside, right? So Harvey's looking up. He brings the additional defender to him. It's not clean because it was bumped and deflected just for a second. But still, the fact that he gathered it in, Robinson, look at the numbers. A double just about for his season, 10.8 up to the 20. Career high, as you just mentioned, Bob.
Theodore knocked it away from Acker. And Acker stepped on the sideline. So now Seton Hall with the ball down 2. 10th turnover for Buzz Williams, Golden Eagles. And he's pleading his case to Tim Clougherty, saying he got bumped. That's why he stepped on the sideline.
He may have stepped on the half-court line as he went by, too, just before that play.
Now there's a little verbal exchange going on between the 2 benches. More so from Bobby Gonzalez's end to Buzz Williams than vice versa. Harvey. Hazel trying to get on the scoreboard.
Oh, was that ever a lift? The whole bench, after that shot left his hands, they felt that it was a good shot also.
First lead of the game for Seton Hall, coming on Hazel's first points of the game.
Both of these coaches are just working the officials right now. The importance of this game starting to magnify a little bit. Here's the shot. Take a look at the bench. They all get up, and now all of a sudden they all start their little dance on the side, thinking about the dance down the road.
Foul on Hazel. It's his 2nd and 2 on the Pirates. 91st three-pointer of the year for him. Leads the Big East, 2nd in the country. Left side false jumper. Big time.
Yep. Good looking shot right there. Once again, that's how Marquette wants to play it. Get you to commit a little bit and then take advantage. Now the key is, let's see if with Hazel to make sure he doesn't take a bad shot.
Great penetration by Theodore. Got it to Robinson. He lost the handle the first time, got it back, and gets to the line. Robinson has been Seton Hall's best player on the floor today.
And he's just getting the ball in great spots. I mean, he's watching, he's tracking the basketball very, very well. And he just is anticipating. 9 for 12 from the floor.
Robinson at the line. Bobby Gonzalez said, I never panicked early in the year when we got off to a slow start because I knew we had not yet played our best basketball. I always felt we were ready for a great stretch run. And Jim, Seton Hall played 4 of its first 5 Big East games against teams that were ranked in the top 13 in the country. So their Big East schedule was really front-loaded.
Right. And that's why they have to take advantage coming down the stretch.
Butler's strong move to the goal.
Yeah, I think they would like to see him get more involved, you know, from 10 feet and in.
He's got 7. Kubion poked it away from Harvey. They both played at St. Benedict's here in Newark. Here's Robinson. Backing in, shooting over Fultz. Air ball. Rebound out of Hayward's hands to Theodore. Tried to hand it to Pope. Theodore gets it back. Wild scrum. And coming away with it from Marquette is Kubion. Ahead to Fultz. Tough pass in traffic.
Sound like a whistle blew then, didn't it?
Yeah. And evidently it did. Bobby Gonzalez wants a timeout.
It's a good thing it did because he was about 6 feet out on the floor.
Well, with that timeout, we once again have the attention of
The tough play in traffic. Marquette comes away. This was not an easy to complete pass. But by God, Kubion hit Fultz right on the fingertips, didn't it? Come from way back to take the lead, but right now it's Marquette by 4 over the Pirates. Today's Big East Coaches Spotlight is brought to you by Oppenheimer Funds. Let's take a closer look at Seton Hall coach Bobby Gonzalez in his 4th year at Seton Hall. Before that, spent 7 years at Manhattan. Has had his contract extended through 2015. And while at Manhattan, he led the Jaspers to 2 NCAA tournament appearances, 2 NIT appearances. Also, Jim really cut his coaching teeth as an assistant under Pete Gillen at Xavier, Providence, and Virginia.
And one of the other things with him is Bobby Gonzalez always gets his team to play competitively. You know, he gets them to play hard. They work hard on the floor. And he would love to get this game, and it's getting a little late for it to go up and down at a better pace because Marquette has the ability to just slow the clock down and slow the tempo down. But so Seton Hall is really going to have to make some good executions, get the guys. They're going to look for Robinson continually on the blocks, I'm sure, whether it's direct pass or not.
And away from the play, we're going to get a holding call on Marquette in the lane. That will be number 3 on the Golden Eagles, and this is an official media timeout.
It's Lobster Fest. The one time a year Red Lobster creates so many irresistible ways to treat yourself to lobster. Like our new wood-grilled lobster and shrimp with Parmesan scampi. Our succulent lobster lover's dream with both sweet Maine and buttery rock lobster tails. And 11 more choices, each served with a salad and our freshly baked Cheddar Bay biscuits. Come celebrate Lobster Fest right now at Red Lobster.
Get a partner and become America's best twosome.
It was a fabulous tournament, just fantastic.
Lush fairways and greens. And oh yeah, it's Vegas, baby. And it's the ESPN National Golf Challenge. Overcome a few obstacles. Challenge some of the country's best golfers.
Unbelievable. Top notch.
Pretty good.
For more information, log on to ESPNGolf.com.
Only on Sports 32.
With Prince Fielder's long-term future uncertain, is there a real sense of urgency about this season because you still have that potent 1-2 combo of Braun and Fielder?
I think that's going to be a storyline that we're going to follow closely all year long because I truly don't know how that's going to play out.
The best guests on Sports 32.
Join me, JP Cadorn, for Sports 32 Weekly, Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on Sports 32.
Is the bank trying to take your home or car? Are creditors threatening to garnish your wages and bank account? Are collectors harassing you day and night? Does it feel like there's no way out? I'm attorney Paul Strauss, and I know people of Wisconsin are honest, hardworking people who want to pay their bills. In ordinary times, things would be okay, but these are not ordinary times. Wall Street and the banks got their bailout. Don't you deserve one? Let me use the bankruptcy laws to protect your assets, eliminate your debt, and get you a fresh start. That's what it's there for.
Connect a Million Minds, an initiative of Time Warner Cable, connects young people to after-school activities that inspire them to develop the science, technology, engineering, and math skills to become the problem solvers of tomorrow. We partnered with the Wisconsin Regional First Competition. With the robots they built, high school students will compete in this two-day event, March 12th and 13th at the U.S. Cellular Arena. The first competition is free and open to the public. Join Time Warner Cable and First and get connected.
You must have like 26 hours in your day. Yeah, why? Work, kids, and now school? How do you do it?
Kaplan University. They just know how to make it work. It's online, but with a resource center. So I swing by after work for some classes in a study group.
That could even work for me.
Even with just 24 hours in the day.
Kaplan University, where the options are yours. Call 888-973-4141 or visit kuoptions.com.
Part of the big crowd for Sunday matinee here at the Prudential Center. Seton Hall trailing Marquette by 4. And Jim, let's take a look at Marquette's tournament resume. The best thing the Golden Eagles have going for them, a 9-6 record in the toughest conference in the country from top to bottom.
Yeah, they sure do. And the thing about it is those bad losses, NC State, DePaul might play into it. But one of the other things is they got some nice quality wins coming down the stretch. They have Louisville and Notre Dame. Not an easy last two behind this, so no coach really is sitting easily, except for maybe a Jim Boeheim right now in the Big East right at the top. But other than that, everybody is really sweating it out in the middle of the pack still.
Jim Boeheim's Syracuse team could find itself #1 in the ESPN USA Today rankings when the new poll comes out tomorrow afternoon. Out of the timeout, Theodore buries the 3 to cut the lead to 1.
That's the sign of good execution and very good coaching to get good shots after you take a timeout.
12 points for Theodore.
It's an underrated thing, but you have time to talk things over. You want to make sure you get the execution.
Hazel nearly got the steal. He's 3rd in the league in that category. And Johnson Odom winds up with the runner. Harvey around the Pope screen.
Johnson Odom with the assignment against Hazel.
Robinson drew the triple team, and as he went up for the shot, Hayward got a hand on it.
Nice look.
And it results in Acker setting up Johnson Odom at the other end.
Well done by Acker, too. He knew that Johnson Odom was going to get to the spot. He saw him the entire way and then just waited for the defender to bite. Nice delivery.
11 points for Johnson Odom. Theodore for another 3.
Bobby Gonzalez thought he got hit over there, didn't he?
Theodore tried to draw to make it a 4. The old Kobe Bryant trick. Yep. You spread your legs on your way down and act like you got hit. 15 for Theodore.
You really want to go back. How about World Be Free?
Oh, yeah.
Youngsters won't remember that name, but World Be Free would kick you in the chest on the way down.
Hayward fires that pass across court to Acker. Acker's 47% shooter from three-point range.
Starting to pick up the pace a little bit. Shooters are shooting.
Marquette has made its last 6 shots. Seton Hall comes right back.
It is easy basketball if you play it that way.
Marquette hit its first 6 three-pointers. And on its last trip, that shot by Acker was the Golden Eagles' first 3 since. They lead it by 3. Here's Kubian. Foot was on the line. It's a 2. Rebound Hazel. Finds Harvey up the left sideline. Harvey will reach up.
I think everybody associated with Seton Hall is wondering whether Hazel has it in him to get a couple of shots off and see if they can go down. But Johnson Odom continues to hawk him pretty well.
Well, Hazel went back door, but didn't get any elevation. Still scored anyway. That normally is an alley-oop and a slam.
Yep. But nice recognition again by Seton Hall. Hazel knew that he wasn't going to get a shot out there.
5 points and great penetration by Acker. How did that not stay down? Here's Harvey. Seton Hall looking for the lead. Harvey penetrates. And he'll be shooting too if he makes them both. The Pirates will have their second lead of the afternoon.
We've seen Theodore do it. We've seen Harvey do it for Seton Hall. Both of them recognizing in the open floor that they can sense very quickly when a defender is out of position. It doesn't necessarily have to be close to the glass.
First foul on Kubian, 4 on Marquette. To the line will go Harvey. 10th most accurate free throw shooter in the Big East. Harvey with 7 assists on senior day.
Right at 80%. Needs to knock one back here.
He's 8th in Seton Hall history. Career free throw shooting accuracy. 78% for his career.
Don't tell me we're shaping up to another one of these tough Big East games coming down to the stretch.
Of course we are. Marquette has played 12 games that have been decided by 5 or fewer points. They've won 5. Hayward off the nice dish.
Johnson Odom with the delivery, similar to what Harvey just did down the floor with Robinson a moment or two ago.
17 for Hayward. Down low, Pope. Hayward up in the air for the rebound. His 5th.
Seton Hall's getting better and better shots in their half-court set.
Cadogan only a 6-game back following a ruptured Achilles. Kubian misses the 3. Rebound Harvey at the 7.5-minute mark. Theodore, low block Robinson, went right at Hayward.
Boy, he's not spending any time worrying about it. He's got the confidence going in. This was a good matchup. Seton Hall thought for their bigs to have some good activity down deep in terms of the blocks.
See Hazel called for the foul. He's not playing defense with his feet at all.
Yep, they're not going to like it, but he did reach it. Before that, he reached out front also.
Right. Robinson having a huge game at the other end. It's Robinson and Hayward that are doing the damage for their teams. Robinson has already exceeded his career high by 8, and he's got 7 minutes to go to add to that. One of only 2 teams in the Big East who has won at least 10 conference games in each of the last 4 years. They're looking for number 10 today. They're tied with Seton. And with all due respect to Simon and Garfunkel, here's to you, Mr. Robinson. What a game.
Very nice.
The young man from Trenton's having, huh?
He sure is. He's just delivering. He's doing his thing down deep. And the guards are finding him. That's the beauty of it. Seton Hall has recognized the weakness, and they know that they have a strength at the same time with Robinson, and is really taking advantage of it. Continue to go to him, and he's delivering. And he's getting it, and he's really pumped up. Should be a lot of fun last 7 and change here.
There are Robinson's numbers. 6 straight double-figure scoring game. He began last season playing for Memphis. He played 5 games, scored 9 points, transferred at the end of the fall semester, so he had to sit out 2 semesters, which meant he could not play in the first 8 games this year. But what an impact he's made in his last 6 games. Out of the timeout, Marquette ball, Kubian for 3. In and out. Rebound pulled down by Pope, his 5th.
A lot of reasons you want a good set right here. Keep your rhythm at the offensive end, but snatch that lead and get the crowd behind you.
Down low, I think Hayward might be called for the hold.
I think they're trying to keep Robinson involved. That was an entry pass that was designed to get it to him.
Number 3 on Hayward. Number 5 on Marquette.
Bobby Gonzalez smiling there. I'm not sure he wanted that call because I think he thought he had a layup.
If it comes to a free throw shooting contest, Marquette is 2nd in the Big East in free throw shooting. Seton Hall is 13th. And Pope, by the way, is the greatest violator there, only a 43% shooter. He's called for the travel. No team in the Big East, Jim, has played more close games than Buzz Williams, and we asked him before the game, do you think your kids have a belief that if you get in that situation, they're going to win? And he says, well, they don't know anything differently.
That's right. Second nature to them right now.
He said, we expect when we enter every game that it's going to be a 1-possession game. And it's amazing how often it's turned out that way. Down low, Hayward, power move.
Well, one of the things they do so well is, you know, they clamp down on you defensively. They're tops in the league in overall games with scoring defense. Interesting enough, though, they're at the bottom of the pack defending the defensive field goal percentage. That's why I think Seton Hall has taken advantage of them down deep. Now they force a double team, though.
And a held ball. Possession hour favors Marquette. Back-to-back turnovers for the Pirates.
Nice adjustment there by Marquette to double team down on the blocks because, once again, Bobby Gonzalez, rightfully so, is trying to keep that ball in the hands of Robinson, and Hazel pops back, and he also knows that Robinson is, if he's going to be double teamed, one of his guards and maybe a small forward like Hazel, or plays the 2 guard also, gets some free looks.
Away from the play, we're going to have a foul call on Seton Hall. It will be on Jeff Robinson, his second, and number 4 on the Pirates here in the second half. 5:39 remaining. Marquette by a pair. Marquette looking low for a 10th win.
Whoa!
That could be an intentional. It will be. Intentional foul on Harvey. 2 shots plus the ball for Marquette. Think it was a good call?
I do. I think that it was a good call, and I think it was an instinctive play by Harvey. I don't think there was anything that was intentional about it in terms of the aggressiveness and the nastiness of it. He just sees him coming through the lane. They miscommunicated inside, and he just tried to stop him from getting the ball, but he swings him around at the same time because he's going away from the bucket.
So Butler, who leads the Big East in free throw attempts, 6th in the country in free throw attempts, is 3 for 5 today. This is his 209th free throw attempt of the year.
I love guys who get to the line. It means they're not afraid to mix it up.
Bobby Gonzalez's club coming off a game against Rutgers where they turned the ball over only 6 times on Tuesday night. That ties a season low. The Hall has turned it over only 11 times today. They're second in the Big East in turnover margin. Marquette is first. Let's see if Marquette can turn this into a 4-point possession. Robinson says,
Go to that left side. It's a little bit of a slower lob to the basket. How about Hazel getting back into this play? He doesn't get the block, but watch him. Hazel's there, and then it helps his teammate finish the job.
Second block for Robinson today. Acker thought about it. Kubian did more than think about it. A 5-point possession because of that intentional foul.
And what a fabulous screen, too, for Kubian to come up around and square himself perfectly, but the movement away from the ball just terrific for Marquette.
Make that a 4-point possession. Butler missed the first free throw.
Upstairs, nice defense.
And the finish by the freshman Farrakhan Hall.
Trying to go upstairs that trip to get Hazel involved.
Inside the 5-minute mark. It's a 4-point Marquette lead. Acker goes baseline. Penetrates. Hands to Johnson Odom. It looked like the Globetrotters on a weave there. Butler missed the layup, but a push will be called on Farrakhan Hall after the miss.
First of all, I don't know how this ball came out of the basket. It seemed as if it was down and going down, and Bobby Gonzalez just can't figure out where that call was coming from.
He's also a good 12 feet beyond the coach's box right now. Remember, he already got teed up once today. Butler to Acker. Looking down low for Hayward. Now they get it to him. A bit further out than he'd like to be.
Shooters have to be ready to shoot.
Robinson bumped him, but the call is a travel from official Mike Hitz. And the 11th turnover on Marquette. Buzz Williams wants Junior Cadogan to get in there to replace Kubian. And Marquette with only 9 players in uniform today. One of them a walk-on, Robert Frazina, we have not seen at all. That because of an injury, illness rather, to Dwight Bikes, who's home with an upper respiratory infection. We've seen Eric Williams very limited time. So it's essentially been 2 players off the bench. Cadogan and Fultz. Hey, it works for Jim Boeheim. He only plays 7.
Yep.
They do pretty well with that. Theodore with a huge 3.
Yep, we are shaping up for a good one coming down the stretch. Terrific step-in shot just then, and gives Seton Hall and their fans a little bit of a lift.
And Bobby Gonzalez gesturing to all 4 corners of the Prudential Center defense, urging them to get on their feet and root for his Pirates. They were down 6 a moment ago after that intentional foul call resulted in a 4-point possession. Now it's 1. Acker for 3. In and out, rebound, batted around. Hazel comes away. Here's Harvey. Theodore's open on the wing. Harvey right to the rim.
Butler never got squared up. Harvey with the great read and reaction.
A 7-0 Seton Hall run. Right after that 4-point Marquette possession, following the intentional foul. The Pirates have ripped off 7 consecutive points.
It may not go well all the time, but Seton Hall never gives up. That's one of the trademarks of this team. They really work at it. Theodore with the long-range shot. And backcourt mate with a nice crossover and finish. Butler never stepping up and squaring off defensively.
The tournament resume for Seton Hall. Strength of schedule very good at 21. 3 wins against teams ranked in the top 50. And again, if they can get by Marquette today, what lies ahead for Seton Hall are games against Rutgers, who is 5-11 in the Big East, and Providence 4-12, although they're both on the road.
Right, and that strength of schedule is going to help them. There's no question about that. And as you just touched on, any time late in the season you can knock off somebody who's above you in the standings of a quality conference, it's not going to hurt. But with that said, still a little time to play right here. Look at Theodore's numbers right there. 18 points of 7 of 10 from the floor. Doing a nice job as a guard for the rebounding also. Nearing his career high of 20.
And with Hazel obviously bothered by the bad back, Theodore has been Seton Hall's only threat from the perimeter. Here's Acker.
And Robinson has picked up that scoring slack also.
Johnson Odom. Blocking foul will be called on Robinson.
How many easy ones are we going to see going to the basket from this point on? I don't think a one.
That's 3 on Robinson, 6 on the team. Free throws for Marquette when we come back.
Well, you take at the look at the backcourt. Jordan Theodore having a terrific game, and I think not only so much with the 18 points as you look at Hazel's only 5, so stepping it up there and helping his guard play out. But I think the decisions that he has made have been terrific. Now, coming down the stretch with under 3 minutes to go here, decisions are so important for guard play. It leads to good quality shot selections and good execution. You take a look at Robinson right there. He should be a focal point on the blocks. I'm sure Marquette is thinking that too, so keep in mind from Seton Hall's perspective, a look to the blocks. If he gets it, Robinson has to be willing to kick the ball out to the perimeter, and guys have to still be ready to either shoot or come drive into the basket off the kick out.
Career high 25 for Robinson. Tied at 63. Seton Hall has made 8 of its last 9 shots. Hazel for 3.
Oh.
Rebound pulled down by Hayward.
Bad back and all, they still have that confidence in him to go to him, and that ball was just about down.
2.5 remaining, tie game. Johnson Odom drives by Hazel.
This game is going to be won by driving to the basket. Oh, a little fumble back there. Nice heads-up play by Marquette.
Costly Pirate turnover. Number 12 for the Hall.
A team that will be willing to drive it to the hole. Now, you can shoot the 3 off that or the outside shot, but the team that looks to go to the bucket more frequently down the stretch will have more success.
Hayward for 3. Rebound pulled down by Harvey at the 2-minute mark.
No real challenge to the glass like this.
Harvey crossover dribble.
Harvey's got the mental edge going right now. I'm sure Theodore is thinking the same thing. Anytime we get an opportunity to plug this thing into the middle of the floor, go towards the bucket, we'll have better results.
Harvey now with 11. The pull up by Kubion, no good. Rebound Theodore. Quickly forecourt. One-on-one with Hayward, who stripped him.
Well, that was a terrific strip. The left hand, the nice strip down. But Theodore thinking the right play just then.
Great defensive play by Hayward, who on top of everything else is 5th in the Big East in steals. Timeout Buzz Williams. 1:22 left. Tied at 65. Hayward's gotten it done at the offensive end, off the boards, and here's the biggest defensive play of the day.
Good defensive play, and what Theodore was annoyed with was the bump before the strip. And he may have had an argument.
So as we mentioned, no team in the Big East has played more close games. Only a handful of teams in the country have made more close games than Marquette. What these two teams are trying to do is finish in the top 8 in the Big East, because if you do it, you get a first-round bye in the Big East Championship. Here are the standings, 5 through 12, entering today's action. Marquette tied for 5th with Louisville, who will play UConn. That game starting at the top of the hour. And Seton Hall in a tie with UConn for 9th place.
Yeah, and even with that too, I mean, teams are jockeying for that 8 and above line, but you know they're really jockeying too, a lot of these teams, to build their momentum and their rhythm. Now Seton Hall is obviously building theirs to try to get into the NCAA tournament, which they're making a good stand and statement here today, staying tough. Getting a win here would be terrific for their hopes. But the other part I always think about getting ready for the postseason is the teams that build it up over the last 3 or 4 games of the regular season are the teams that generally play well in the NCAA tournament, because they get going in the end of the regular season, they get some continuity. There's usually a carryover in their tournament, in the conference tournament, and then boom, they play well and it keeps going. So these last 3 or 4 games of regular season is so important to get the rhythm.
Marquette's had great rhythm, winning 7 of its last 8. Because of all the close games, no one's had more experience calling plays during timeouts late in close games this year than Williams. What do you think Marquette might run here out of the timeout?
You know, they have plenty of time right now, and the thing about it is with their guard play, being able to handle the ball. I always like the fact that they got 3 guys who can really handle from the outside. Now keep in mind, Butler's been a guy, they like Hayward, and they like him touching the ball, but Butler has been a go-to guy for them. They gave him the ball at the end of the St. John's game in overtime just earlier in the week.
Johnson Odom guarded by Theodore. Acker picked up by Harvey. On the switch, Pope on Johnson Odom. He ought to be able to drive by him, and he does.
Oh, terrific drive. Boy, it was a nice hesitation there. Seton Hall doesn't really have to hurry unless they get something.
Harvey's shot was blocked, but a foul is called. And Harvey, a 79% free throw shooter, will go to the line. Here's a great way of reading the defense here for Johnson Odom.
Yeah, the ability to put the ball on the floor and going to his right as a lefty and watch him cross and finish, get away from shot blockers. Terrific drive to the basket.
Harvey will not shoot. Marquette not yet over the limit. Next foul will send Seton Hall to the line. Here's Hazel on the switch, picked up by Butler. The spin move in traffic.
Boy, a great answer by Hazel.
Here we go. 45 seconds left. Butler.
Yeah, they're going to try to get it to Hayward. They're just boxing him out, though. Hazel got him.
And Hazel was no match for him.
Yep, sure wasn't. A lot of strength right there with Hayward in terms of the blocks.
And Harvey.
I don't think that's going to count, though.
No, it will not. Bill McCarthy says no, but finally Marquette is over the limit. So hard to go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. Here are the last 2 baskets.
Yeah, watch the body bump. He takes the little graze there and comes down the middle of the lane. Sometimes you short arm those shots, but he extends, and we go back the other end, and he's trying to guard Hayward, the body, 225 or so. Hayward really going after it.
Harvey, 79% free throw shooter, but only 1 for 3 today. Looking for the tie, needs them both.
You want your vet on the line, though, don't you?
There's Eugene Harvey's dad, who was honored along with his son before the game as part of the Senior Day ceremonies. Product out of St. Benedict's Prep right here in Newark. He's from Brooklyn. Tie ball game. And Seton Hall calling timeout here.
Well, I've been here this week with St. John's and Marquette. Marquette had the same exact situation for them, Bob, in regulation and in overtime. They had the ball with tie score and the last possession. So really Marquette now, the worst thing that should happen to Marquette is they go to overtime. Don't turn the ball over. If you miss a shot, you go to overtime. But you take a look at Jimmy Butler, has been a step-up guy. Last second shots against Connecticut. And then also we take a look at this shot. He tracks it down against St. John's. Clock expires, bang. So what they did with him is they gave him the ball as a big guy, about 15, 18 feet away. It wasn't the initial hold off. The guards will handle it and let him go to work.
Each team with 17 fouls. Marquette, the second best free throw shooting team in the Big East. They knock them down entering the day at 73.9%. Butler's a 78% shooter from the line. Hayward an 83% shooter. Acker 73%. Johnson Odom 63%. Kubion 77%. Those are the five on the floor.
And I like this pressure. They're going to bring the ball up. Buzz Williams probably going to call a timeout, I would think. If he did it the other day. You see him start pointing to the floor.
Over here, and there's the time.
Yep, point him to the floor. Now we reload.
16 seconds left. Shot clock off.
Because you really don't want your team trying to hold the ball against a Seton Hall trapping defense and a pressure defense for that 28 seconds or so. It's just too long. I mean, you start to get a little nervous handling the ball, thinking, oh, we're going to turn this baby over. So that's a great play right there. And coaching, timeout, reload. And he's got so many options. That's the beauty of what Marquette's team. They can all pretty much handle the basketball.
Now the last thing Marquette wants to do is take a shot with so much time left and miss and give Seton Hall a chance to win in regulation.
You want to get the shot. You want to be shooting a comfortable shot unless it's not there at about 3 seconds, 4 seconds. And because if it's an outside shot, the further out you go, it takes 3 seconds really. It's 1-2 in the air, hits the rim. So it's about 3 seconds before you have to rebound. So if it's a long shot and it's 4, 5 seconds or 4 seconds, then that's a good play for Marquette. Anything above that from the outside is a chance for Seton Hall to come down the floor.
Now Hazel with the bad backs not in there. Lawrence is. If Marquette gets it down low to Hayward, will Seton Hall double him?
Well, I think they got to go quick. I think they get the ball down deep. You got to go after it. Don't be surprised. Now Hayward's going to hold on to it. Does Butler come and get it? Yep, here he is.
With 10.
Because he can handle.
Butler should be quicker than Pope. With 5. Acker with 2. Kick out Hayward. Good if it goes. Oof. And Marquette, who has played in overtime in the last 2 games for the first time in 10 years, will make it the hat trick. 3 straight overtime games for the Cardiac kids from Milwaukee.
Well,
what do we say about extra innings?
Yep, the hat is off to both teams. Seton Hall defended this as well as you could defend it. Look at them picking up the rotations. Nice job here to get a hand up. And boy, it's just a touch short. And Marquette does exactly what they're supposed to do. It wasn't the cleanest of shots, but they can live with that particular shot. You take a look at that, huh? 3rd consecutive overtime game.
And we will be back with the 5-minute overtime from the Prudential Center right after this timeout.
Do you want to own a brand new HP, Dell, or other name brand computer and improve your credit at the same time? If so, Tronics Country says you're approved, guaranteed.
I wanted a new computer, but I couldn't get financed. Then I called Tronics Country. They approved me, delivered my new computer, and are reporting on my credit.
If you have an active checking account and can afford low, flexible payments, you're already approved, guaranteed, for this special offer. There's no credit check, so you won't be turned down.
Tronics Country approved me quickly.
I got instant approval, and it was easy. Their flexible payment plans made it easy on my budget. And my kids are getting ahead in school.
I started my own business, and now I'm my own boss.
Call now, and with your paid order, we'll add a free color printer, free MP3 music player, and free LCD TV. You heard right. Free printer, free MP3 player, and free LCD TV. Call now and tell us where you want your brand new computer and free gifts shipped today.
I'm glad I called.
Back at the Prudential Center in Newark, Bob Picozzi along with Jim Spinarco, spent 5 years in the NBA with the 76ers and Mavericks, and these two teams have overtime experience with very different results.
They sure do, and more frequently, you know, Marquette, now whether that, some people might think, well, the overtime games are going to be more tired than Seton Hall. I don't buy into that. These are young guys out on the floor. They have unlimited energy. And we just got to saddle up again, Bob, and get to watch 5 minutes from a bad seat in the house, right? Right at half court, you can't beat it.
Absolutely. And what's at stake here? Well, Marquette and Seton Hall, both to get first-round byes in the Big East Championship and both squarely on the bubble trying to get into the NCAA tournament. A win would make Marquette 19-9 and 10-6 in the league. Tough to keep somebody out with a record like that playing in the Big East. A win for Seton Hall would make the Pirates 17-10, 8-8 in the league with games left against a Rutgers team that's 5-11 in the league and a Providence team that's 4-12 in league play. Here's Butler. Pope gives him plenty of room. Kick out, and knocking down the three is Kubiak.
That is what Buzz Williams described when I asked him earlier, tell me about your three-point philosophy. He says, we just try to dribble the ball in. Everybody who touches it, dribble it in, force it in, and then kick it out. If it's in rhythm, and he calls it an assisted three, he'll take it. And that was an assisted three.
Here comes the help defense on Robinson. Theodore with the foul line jumper. Great box out by Hayward, and an over-the-back foul will be called on Robinson, and that's his fourth. Example of how Seton Hall was able to come back today, shooting 65% in the second half following that 8-point deficit at the half. Bobby Gonzalez thinks his club will get into the NCAA tournament if they can finish 500 in the Big East. A win today would go a long way towards securing that 500 finish. It's been a big game for Hayward. Preseason all Big East selection entering his senior year. Only returning starter on a Marquette team that won 25-10 a year ago.
Knocking back 84% of his free throws coming in too, Bob. So a guy, you know, it's amazing. You want your guards to shoot well from the floor, a free throw line, because they handle it down the stretch a lot, but it's nice to get your guy who you can go to the blocks with also, who can get to the line and make shots.
So 5 quick points for Marquette to start the overtime. Seton Hall had a 7-0 run late in the game to tie it. Harvey around the Pope screen.
Don't forget your drives to the basket if you're Seton Hall. There you go.
Hazel off balance. Rebound went off the hands of Hayward, and a fresh shot clock for the Hall. Seton Hall has won 4 of its last 5. Lone loss in that stretch to West Virginia. And a hold will be called on Johnson Odom off the inbound. That will be number 1 on him.
Well, that's a tough one too against Marquette. Not to jump the gun, but it's almost when you put a shooter like Hazel to the line, it's almost like giving away the 2 points.
Hazel has taken more three-pointers than any player in the country. And chatting with Bobby Gonzalez, he said, how would you characterize what it's like to coach this young man? He had a long pause, and he said, look, he's a great talent. Anyone would love to coach a guy who can score like him. I would say coaching him is a challenge. I wouldn't call it frustrating, but you have to press different buttons to reach him, and they're not always the same buttons every day. There was a game earlier this year against Villanova where Hazel scored 32, but late in the game was called for a technical during a timeout, pouted on the outskirts of the huddle. Bobby Gonzalez didn't play him in the last 4 minutes, didn't start him in the next game against Pitt.
Well, they're giving him a rest right now for a defensive stop. With the smaller lineup on the floor to match up better with the drives.
But always looking to drive. Fake Pope in the air.
That is just a flat-out terrific move, too, by Butler, because he can stop across. He took advantage of Pope, bringing him outside. And then how about that spin back without walking and moving the pivot foot?
10 points for Butler. And a timeout called by Bobby Gonzalez with 3:07 left in overtime, and his team trailing by 5. Marquette with very good execution at the offensive end so far in overtime.
Yeah, you get the big out. Now watch that left foot. Never moves. I mean, he reloads. Watch him reload with the right foot. Once, twice, boom. Great shot right there. But be able to see a nice spin move and using the effectiveness of the pivot foot to close and get around Pope back to the basket.
What's at stake in this one? Well, both teams want to get in the NCAA tournament, goes without saying. Marquette looking for a 10th Big East win. They've won 10 in a row, 4 straight years. This would actually make it 5. Marquette and Pitt are the only 2 teams in the Big East who have at least 10 wins in the Big East in the last 4 seasons. Pitt's already done it this year. Marquette would get there with a win today.
Yeah, and the Pirates, you know, you think about them with the Big East home. I mean, they've really played well. As we've touched on, no bad losses really for them this season. The fight and the intensity, I mean, just keep coming at you constantly. Good example of that this afternoon. Marquette took a little bit of a lead right now, sitting with a 5-point lead, but they just get ready to play, and they come ready to play, and I'm sure after this break they'll look for something down deep.
First 8 teams in the Big East will get byes. First 4 teams get double byes into the quarterfinals of the Big East Championship, and if you finish 5 through 8, you get a first-round bye. These are the standings entering the day's action. Marquette and Louisville tied for 5th, with Louisville playing against UConn right now. They just tipped off a few moments ago in Connecticut, and UConn and Seton Hall are in a 2-way tie for 9th. So the big numbers, it's no longer finishing in the top 12 just to make the Big East tournament now that all 16 get there. Really, the 2 most important numbers are 5 or 4, finish in the top 4, or 8.
Right.
Syracuse, by virtue of its win over Villanova last night, clinched at least a tie of the Big East regular season title, and because of a tiebreaker over Villanova, Syracuse will be the #1 seed in the Big East Championship.
Johnson, Odom once again on Hazel. Here he comes around a double.
Catch and shoot.
Yep.
Rebound pulled down by Hayward. His 7th. Marquette with a 5-point lead with 2:45 remaining in overtime. Trying to make it 8 wins in their last 9. The lone loss in that stretch to Pitt. Butler to Acker. Ahead for Marquette will be home dates with Louisville and Notre Dame.
Taking some time off the clock now. Now they got to go.
Johnson Odom will try to beat Hazel off the bounce. Instead, kick out Hayward. Long rebound to Hazel at the 2:20 mark.
Nice screen up front. Lost a little deflection right there. Good play here by Butler not to try to force the action going down the other way.
14th turnover for the Hall. Marquette will work some more clock here. Acker to Kubian.
Sometimes it can take you out of your rhythm, though, when you do this and sit on the clock.
Johnson Odom's pass deflected by Robinson, stolen by Hazel. Open floor Harvey right to the rim. Rebound Butler, and a reach-in foul will be called. Harvey and Robinson were both there. It will be on Harvey.
We'll take a look at the last 3 possessions. Hazel coming around. Johnson Odom right there with him. And we got Harvey in the traffic here, going to the basket. Just unfortunately can't complete that shot because he then got a clear look at it. And then a little bit of a stumble and a fumble.
Harvey sits down. He's got 3 fouls. So at the line is Butler and Jim. Here's a classic example of a player taking advantage of an opportunity with the graduations of Jarrell McNeil, Dominique James, and Wesley Matthews. There were minutes available, and Butler reached out and has grabbed them.
Well, he shoots the ball well, as you see. This 78% from the free throw line. The 2 bigs, if you will, the forwards. Hayward at 84, him at 78%. Nice go-to guys for your bigs, because you generally think about the guards, as I mentioned a moment ago.
Seton Hall 0 for 4 from the floor in overtime. Got it something in this possession.
Yeah, they got to get something going in a hurry. This might be it. Oh, a lot of time.
Hazel.
Boy, that's one of the toughest shots you can take right there. Not because it's not his shot, but just because he catches, he turns around. It's almost like a long free throw. I have too much time to get ready. A huge bucket, though, to keep Seton Hall alive. And here you see the one. He's going to reload, take his time. Waiting for the guy. You almost shoot the ball better, Bob, when you have a guy running at you. You don't want him too close, but you just want the flow and the context of the game.
And Seton Hall called the timeout after that made basket. Lead cut to 4. Hazel has scored all 5 of Seton Hall's points in overtime. And what lies ahead for both of these teams schedule-wise. Let's take a look. For Marquette, Louisville at home, and Notre Dame at home, both home games. And Seton Hall will be playing on the road against Rutgers and Providence. And between them, the Scarlet Knights and the Friars only have 9 Big East wins. But stranger things have happened. Marquette, very good team, lost earlier this season to DePaul. That's the only win that DePaul has in conference play in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, for stranger things to happen, you don't have to go too far and leave the Big East. That's for sure with NCAA basketball. It's important to point out, too, Seton Hall does not have a timeout left. And I would guess, Bob, you are going to see, from Bobby Gonzalez's standpoint, one of the best defensive efforts that they can put together right here, because he knows exactly how important this possession is.
There's your game reset. As Jim mentioned, no timeouts left for the Pirates. The next foul Seton Hall commits will result in 2 free throws for Marquette, not the 1-and-1.
Possession arrow to Seton Hall, so if there is a tie-up, when you do get the ball up, you can use that to your advantage. Here comes what could be one of their best defensive efforts, or what they need right now.
Butler.
Smart to have him handle the ball against Pope, too. I guess as you'll see him get it back, I would think Butler.
Acker with 20 to shoot. Up top, Butler gives it right back to Acker. Inside a minute remaining. Shot clock now at 10.
Yep, here comes Butler. He wants to handle it.
Butler, head fake, kick out. Tough catch down by his ankles by Acker. Shot clock at 2 and a bailout foul with 1 second left on the shot clock on Theodore.
They have been working that clock down, and I thought it was a good move to have Butler handling the ball against Pope. Gives him a little bit of an advantage because Butler can handle the ball very well. Now let's take a look. There's a bump. Now there's a reach. Just notice that last reach by Theodore coming across.
Sign of a tired player, reaching. Acker's 73% free throw shooter. Marquette has made its last 6 and 14 of its last 18 free throws.
Good numbers at the line, 73%. Assume it goes in now. If you're Seton Hall, you're down 6. I don't know if you have to fire one from 3 yet. I think you come down and get a real fast basket and hope you get a turnover after it.
Bobby Gonzalez trying to make offense-defense substitutions. Had Lawrence in at the defensive end. Harvey's back in on offense. Hazel, another throw.
Unless you got that guy in your squad. Hazel just busted out one of his best moves, just physically going after it in the corner.
Kubian.
Shot differential here is about 4. Yeah, I think that's a good move.
Foul on Harvey will send Acker back to the free throw line. 4 fouls on Harvey.
Even though there was a 3-second differential just then. Here's Hazel coming out. Look at the footwork on him. He does a reverse plant just then to get his shot off that much quicker. Not many guys know how to do that, but it really quickens your pace when it gets your shot off.
At 5'8", Acker's the shortest player in the Big East. He played high school ball at Hillcrest High School in Hazel Crest, Illinois, with his former Marquette teammate and the leading scorer in Marquette history, Terrell McNeil. And now Bobby Gonzalez is putting Lawrence in on offense and taking out Pope and going with an extra perimeter player. Marquette's made 9 free throws in a row. Harvey to Hazel. Around the Harvey screen. Deep 3. Oh! It could be a 4-point play.
The Giant has awakened. What a shot by Hazel. He has been quiet, struggling all afternoon with a lower back problem. He comes here, he looks, he says, I don't have anything there, but you know what? You give me 1 split second, and here's the split second, and it's clearly, I don't know how this ball got to the rim because it looked like the hand was on the elbow, and he shoots right through it.
Jeremy Hazel has scored all 11 of his team's points in overtime.
That was unbelievable.
Chance to make it a 1-point play game. Hazel will get a rest, and they send Pope in defensively. How long do you wait for Seton Hall before you foul?
Normally I like to go quickly, but I think I'd give them about 5 seconds on the second. If they can get it on the second catch. Here's the first. Let's see if they can get a double. Now the second, you got to go for it. There you go. Good foul. Because they're quick enough to try to double team. And the clock, now if you were playing it at 15 instead of 25, then you go fast.
And Butler is 78% free throw shooter, but is only 3 for 7 today. We'll go to the line. Foul on Pope. Everything a 2-shot foul the rest of the way.
Seton Hall's thinking right now, Buzz Williams thinking, all right, we got to think about what we're going to do defensively. Make sure you pick up your assignments. And Bobby Gonzalez is thinking, well, you know what, we're still in the money right here. We still have a shot.
Seton Hall going back on offense, so guess who's back in the game? Man who scored every one of Seton Hall's points in overtime. The second leading scorer in the Big East is Hazel. 2-point game. Shot clock off. Here's Hazel. Can he do it again? Long rebound. Keon Lawrence. Kick out Robinson. Lawrence was standing on the baseline.
Bobby Gonzalez looking for a push out right there. Boy, Hazel had a good look again. Going for it all.
A better look than some of the ones he made.
Who's coming to the ball? All right, you got to grab. Good job there, stretching the clock out.
Gonzalez hot. He claims that Lawrence got pushed when he went to pass the ball out when he got that rebound. Here's another look.
Just a touch short. No push yet. No push yet. He's on the line.
No,
I don't think so, right?
No. And he was on the line.
Yeah, was on the line, but I mean, I didn't think there was a push.
Nope. Kubion has a little blood coming from the nose. And now Gonzalez wants to know, why are we allowing time? He's all the way at the midcourt line.
Not only that, why we're allowing time, but also allowing Marquette players to go over.
Mike Pitts and Tim Clockerty are discussing things off to the side.
It's almost a negative, too, for Marquette there because you're freezing your shooter at the line. He's been standing there a while now, too. So important to get one to go for Marquette right here. And obviously the 2 makes it a 2-possession game. And I think if you're Seton Hall, if it's 3, you go for the tie. I still think with 11 seconds, you get to that rim. There you go.
They got a chance. They need a 3. Harvey, who do you think's going to take it? Hazel.
Oh, unbelievable.
Rebound Pope. 0.6 of a second left. 1-point Marquette lead, and that's it.
I can't believe that shot didn't stay down.
So Marquette, for the 6th time this year, has won a game decided by 5 or fewer points. Marquette's last 5 Big East road wins have come, and I'm not making this up, by a total of 11 points. And they've won 3 overtime games in a row. A huge win for Marquette in its quest, Jim, to get into the NCAA tournament.
No question about that. I mean, you have to give them credit. Buzz Williams' team has reacted. This has been, the last 3 games have been terrific for them in terms of the way they've competed, the way they've hung in there. And you got to give Seton Hall credit. They've really worked. They played hard all afternoon, but Marquette down the stretch really executed, and they hit their free throws. So here we come down the stretch. Obviously, we're looking for Hazel. He's squeezed right here. This shot,
wow.
I mean, it's a fraction, and I'm saying just a fraction of an inch. He goes glass, and watch the carom he gets. Bang, bang, it's in, it's around. And the hearts of the Seton Hall fans are just sitting on that rim with the basketball.
That's an awfully long shot to try to make off the glass, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not so sure he was going for glass, but that's just because he was squeezed, and that's where the ball ended up going in that direction.
So Marquette with the win goes to 19-9, 10-6 in the league. Seton Hall goes to 16-11, 7-9 in the league. Our final: Marquette 84, Seton Hall 83 in overtime. For Jim Spinarkle and our entire Big East Network crew, I'm Bob Picozzi. For more information, log on to ESPNplus.com. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of ESPN Regional Television, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports. So long from Newark, New Jersey.